Okay, I made myself a stick and I marked it 36 because this is an 18-inch stick, and when I wind my yarn around and around, if I cut it in half on one, just on one edge, and it opens out, I end up with 1 yard length of thread. That's what I like to work with. So I've heard it said that you always pull from the end that has the number on it. Doesn't matter what brand of skein it is. If they wind their yarn like this, you always pull from this end, and sometimes you don't always see the little end sticking out. Don't ever pull from the other end because it kind of tangles things up. So I like to push my little labels in closer to the end because sometimes they fall off before I want them to. So I'll reach in here and I'll free that end, and sometimes I'll just unwind the whole thing onto the floor because it really doesn't get tangled as long as you deal with it right away. If it does, I just cut it off, and I mean, I don't want to spend time undoing knots, so I carefully start pulling slowly. But I like to go ahead and wind it onto my stick at the same time. If you don't have a stick, just pull it out one at a time and cut 1 yard length or whatever length you want to start with. Since we're using the loop method to start our knots, just remember that if you cut your yarn or your thread 36 inches long, when you fold it to do your starting knot, you're only working with 18 inches of doubled thread. I like to work with 18 inches because that's fewer knots and it's just easy to deal with. So since I have a stick, instead of measuring them one by one, I'm going to go ahead and just wrap it around the stick. And I usually just hold it in the middle and then just lightly, I don't squeeze this or anything, I just lightly start winding this around my stick. And you usually end up with one longer piece. I don't know why, because it's supposed to be like 8 yards. It might be a little bit more than 8 yards on here, so it's not exactly yard for yard. So toward the end is where you're going to start getting little tangles and stuff if you're not lucky. But see, this went beyond, so I'll put that to the side, and then right where I started, right here, I'll cut. So all of these are a yard long except for this one long piece here. And I usually cut that one in half because it hangs down too low on my little doodad here. So to hang them on my little thing, you do like you do a luggage tag. You fold your string in half, whether it's 1 strand, 2 strands, whatever. And we're going to use this big hole. I'm poking the loop through the hole, and then I'm going to pull the tail through the loop. It's also called a lark's head knot, and then you can decide whether you want that facing this way or not. I like to have this little loop on the side where I put my label so that when I'm doing my cross stitch I can just look at the label and then pull a strand off of there. So I'll take this whole other stack of threads, fold them in half so I can make my lark's head knot. I can't even remember whether you go through the back or the front, so you have to figure out which side you want your knot to be on. So one of them I did backwards and one I did forward, so it doesn't really matter. So each one of these I can reach in with a needle and pull up a little strand. So I hope that helps.